All right. We have a very special treat for you today. For the second last run of the day, we have FeaR coming up with Ratchet and Clank going Commando, NG plus all missions. See you in just a tick. Welcome back, everyone, to CJitsallGewd. We have one very special run for you all today. We have the one, the only, the king of Ratchet and Clank to himself. We have FeaR. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. Before we get started with the run, I have a couple of donations that have rolled through. Some of you may know that we have a donation incentive rolling right now for FeaR does all of the swag strats. We had 2 donations roll through in the last 10 minutes or so. We had $20 from CC who says, I gotta see FeaR do swag strats. And we have $10 from Scoom who says, I've always respected your hard work in Rack 2, FeaR, and it's great to see your efforts supporting charity. Keep having fun and dominating those minor time saves. Now, those 2 donations put us across the line for FeaR doing all of the swag strats.
Oh, no. Thanks, guys. You just put me through hell. Thank you.
So good luck, mate. The floor's yours.
Shall we begin? There's a bit of a countdown to the start. Do you want me to just kind of say when or what?
Hey, as long as we get a 3, 2, 1 go, then that's fine.
Alright, I'll do my best to line it up. Let's see. Alright, I'll start the file. So basically, the moment I gain control is when the timer starts, and I'll try and count it in according to my timer. So give us a few, and it's about 3, 2, 1, and time begins now.
Alright, sweet. This is NG plus all missions for Ratchet and Clank 2 going Commando. So, if you don't know what those things are, NG plus is basically you get all your items and weapons and all of that at your maximum level, and the most important element of this is the charge boots, which you see FeaR using right now, which is the blue streaky thing that comes out of his back and makes him go at super high speeds. So the name of the game in Ratchet and Clank 2 tech is using those charge boots to conserve momentum and do crazy things with them. So we usually call that neutral tech.
Sorry, I'm just making a few
and then
mistakes.
hold the stick neutral and then
Sorry.
Yeah. This is a great start. This is a great start.
Oh yeah.
What FeaR was trying there was a specific clip through a wall that one's really finicky and takes a lot of work, so that's alright, because you can just easily back it up like this.
Yep, now's a really great time to mention, this game's really hard, and a lot of the quote-unquote swag strats that you've asked me to go for with this donation incentive involve a lot of frame perfect, so, 1/60th of a second strats. So this should be a little interesting to see how this goes, but we'll try.
So, explain the all missions part. So, in the map menu or the ship menu, you can see a list of missions and objectives that you can do on that specific planet. And the goal of this category is to get all the check marks on those specific objectives. So what FeaR did right there was turn around and do a proxy, and he's going to do another one right now, using the decoy glove. So a proxy is when we change our horizontal momentum into the vertical momentum by throwing a decoy up a slope. And we're using that a lot just to get a bunch of height and do a lot of sequence breaks here that we're not really meant to be doing. You'll see he is getting another gadget, the Dynamo. So, a basic tenet of Ratchet and Clank, we'll get this out of the way. The beginning is at the end, and what that means is usually the objectives for a planet are right near the beginning of the planet. Ooh, dang, that is just barely missing what he wanted to do there. So what he did immediately was...
there we go.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
So basically what happens there is we clip out, one of the objectives is right at the end of the level. It's a little cutscene trigger, and it extends down below the actual room. And so we clip out early to avoid going through a big interior section, and we hyperstrike into the bottom of the cutscene. But there I didn't quite have enough height, and so I just completely missed it, and, you know, lost a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll move on to the first of the 4 ship levels here. So what FeaR is trying to do here is use the nuke weapon, which, you know, clears a bunch of enemies on the screen as long as you can see them, by shooting at the right point and getting something called a zero drop, which he did manage to get there. So nice. He got all 20 enemies in the first wave with 1 nuke, which is a fairly precise thing to do. What he did afterwards was shoot a bunch of mines during that cutscene and cleared out the second wave immediately. And as you can see here, he's already done with Whoop Ash.
A way you could think about how much time that saves is basically for every enemy which lives, so when you look at enemy ships left, for every ship that lives, you lose about probably 3 to 4 seconds. So you can imagine when there's, you know, 20 ships, getting a zero drop is, you know, quite an extensively large time save.
Yeah. And, you know, blinking you miss it. He just skipped a huge gadget section there using the tractor beam, which we got on Oozler, by just charging and then using his wrench to cancel and get a jump back in the air. He went underneath the platform and into the taxi, and he's taken to jamming array. So this is the only spheroid planet, or the spherical planet in the run. It has like slightly different physics to the rest of the game.
Basically, if you've played... Sorry, I was just going to explain some of the spherical gravity stuff. With the, it's interesting being the spherical gravity planets, because it's, you know, as Mobius was starting to say, it's got some whack physics. So basically, one of those things it gives you is, if you've ever played the third Ratchet and Clank game, for whatever reason, most of this game, the charge boots are different, but then on just this planet, the charge boots play almost exactly like they do in the third game. And that changes the tech completely. So this, you can't do proxies on this planet, for example, and there's a few other things which change on this planet, so it looks quite a bit different to the rest of the planets.
Yeah. Yeah, you have controllability over the charge boots. Nice pseudo double.
Swag, I gotta go for it. That's how this run works, right?
Oh, no, I think
Did I miss it?
The transponder.
It's fine, we got busy bombs. It's fine. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Alrighty.
Oh no.
Everything's going
right. We're accidentally getting more swag strats here. See, this, you're getting real bang for your buck here. Like, oh my god. Anyway, he's gonna bring out the cursed Visibomb.
Oh, I don't use the Visibomb, that I forgot that it, you know, inverts controls. This should be fun. Alrighty, let's see. Oh, nice. Alright.
Easy done. That was definitely faster. So you might have noticed that FeaR was using the Blitz Cannon there. Every other weapon in the game has a projectile that takes time to travel to its destination. The Blitz Cannon is a hit scan weapon, so it travels to the end of its range immediately, so within a single frame. And that makes it just very slightly faster to use there, but we also use it in other places just to do neutral tech as well.
Now, because I've made so many mistakes, normally you don't need to buy ammo here, but because I've managed to absolutely done goof this entire run so far, I need to do a quick vendor stop. But what that means is I can now go for the first major swag strat. This strategy saves about 0.2 seconds, so it's pretty much nothing, and I have about a 1 in 10 success rate with it, so as you can tell, it is completely worth it. Let's see if I can hit it here. Oh, so close. So basically what you have to do is you have to proxy up that building and that tiny little slope in the middle. It's actually a lot smaller than it looks. You can't just land anywhere on it. You've got like, I want to say 5 pixels to land on. And if you can then land on it, that's step 1. You also need to have exactly 0 speed. If you have any speed at all, it'll treat it like a slope and you'll slide right off. So that's the first swag strat. To not lose too much time, I'm just gonna, you know, not try it again because as I said, it's like a 1 in 10, but there we go.
Yeah, it's one of the more costly strats to go for as well because there's no continue point except for at the very start of the planet.
Yeah.
And, you know, for 0.2 seconds, we're not going to be here for another hour, I think, testing
Exactly,
that.
yeah. But yeah, how the swag incentive will work, I will go at least once for essentially all of the really swag stuff, just for anyone a little bit confused still.
Whole estimate is just for one strat. It's true.
pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, for some of these strats.
Yeah. Now, this arena is nothing really fancy. Basically, there's just a bunch of shooting the correct enemies at the correct time so that we can control which pods are active at which time. And by controlling which pods are active, we're actually able to manipulate which ones come out at a time, and therefore how quickly we can kill the enemies.
Yeah. Shout out. Like, the arena is actually one of the coolest things in the run if you're really into strats. For the casual viewer, it is, like,
very
absolutely
dull.
Nothing, so...
Yeah. There's a lot to explain there that I won't get into. Yep.
This is a mission. You can very, very easily skip this electrolyzer puzzle. You can do this at home if you want, but, like...
I'll show you the strat right now,
he's going to do it anyway.
Oh, I messed it up. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. This is going
this is fantastic.
Alright, let me try this again. So normally you can go that way and then just skip it, but you see, I'm what the kids call rather not great at this game, so I failed it. Alright. Now the next planet has a very important trick that needs explaining. So this game has something called... It's a very new trick, but we've called it Clank clips. And basically, for the longest time, we didn't really have any strats for the Clank sections in this game. They were just kind of long, reasonably boring. There wasn't much to talk about with them. They were just kind of minute 20, minute 30 boring sections. But what we recently found is the camera in this game is actually... Oh, I messed that up. The camera in this game is a physical object. And so what we can do is, once I get into the Clank section, which is just to the other side of this wall, which doesn't actually exist, is once we get into the Clank section, you can use the camera, which is a physical object, to push you through walls and skip the entire section. That's pretty cool. Let's see if I can get it here.
Yeah, we'll demonstrate here. So what FeaR is attempting to do is wedge himself in a corner and turn the camera around, and then like sort of just press L1 to focus the camera again, and then punch, and that like using all that momentum, it forces Clank through the wall because the camera is trying to like force itself in the direction of Clank. So you'll see here, he does very specific setups here that sort of accommodate it the best. And so yeah, there we go. Second try, second clip, really good stuff there. And that whole sequence overdoing the casual section like saved like 50 seconds or something. Like it is massive, and it's really useful, and especially the any% categories. This is the only category of NG Plus that really gets the full benefit of it, but it just enhances the run so much. Here, so you're seeing FeaR do a bunch of like interesting tricks here. Like he's just double jumping, now he's climbing up a wall using the first person mode. This is a really common, well-known trick. Even among the casual players, if you double jump and then just throw the wrench at a wall, it'll continually give you height. And of course, speedrunners use the heck out of it if they can. So you'll see there, like he's just climbed, he skipped a boss with that you won't see for a while now. And the most important thing about doing all that is that he's got the swing shot and grind boots, his old swing shot and grind boots. And completed all missions on the planet by doing that. So one of the major differences from the other conventional NG Plus categories is that conventional NG Plus categories do not have Clank. So it's just Ratchet, and you're very limited in what you can do with Ratchet alone. With Clank, you can do long jumps and high jumps and all that, and also glide. As you can see here, he's using the swing shot momentum to do a bit of gliding. Obviously, he just barely missed out on the trick there. He was going for a long jump, slope intercept. Let's see if he can do it again.
There we go.
Or a charge. Sorry, that was a charge SI. I keep forgetting that we don't need to do this SI anymore.
This route has changed a lot, alright? I'll give you the leeway on this one.
There's been so many things. There was a segmenter done for this category very recently that really threw things out of whack. I found that strat right there.
You did. I was about to say, shoutouts to Mobius.
That's like the one.
For finding that.
That's the one thing like I properly found. Yeah, if you let a charge end or you can cancel a charge, you can hyperstrike, and when you land on a slope surface while hyperstriking, you can still charge off it, and that's called a charge slope intercept.
Camera froze.
We do a lot of
awesome.
we do a lot of specific things with slopes in this game. Normally they slide you off, but if you land on them in particular ways or glide onto them in particular ways, you can high jump or long jump or charge off them. So this is Barlow Race. I love the hoverbike races. To a casual viewer, it looks like not much is going on and you're sort of just, you know, boosting along. There are very specific boost routes that one needs to follow to save like fractions of time here. Like it's the difference between like a good player and a top level player is that whether they can, you know, squeeze out in those last few attempts by spacing their boost correctly.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those splits where it's like a great example of a good player versus a great player. Because a good player, right, they'll get like a 214 or like a 215 or something. But then a great player will go through and they'll save those extra few seconds. They'll do that last thing. You know, a very good player will get like a 212. And then if your name is Mobius, you'll be the only one to get 211 on 60 hertz. So, you know. Basically, a good time, you're aiming for like a 212 on the race. Again, it looks like you're not doing much, but the route I'm following is actually quite specific. I'm boosting at very specific moments to make sure that I constantly have a boost active.
Yeah. One of the things he did, and we'll come across it very soon again, is there is a little bounce you can do at the end of laps to save like 0.1 or 0.2 a lap. So you'll see it just here in a second, and we'll just go boop, right up the slope like that. So there's just a little ledge there, and the interaction between the hoverbike and ledges is that it tends to try and bounce you upwards if you approach them from a specific angle. Right there, it's like it was perfectly designed to bounce you up to that ledge and that boost pad there. And FeaR found that at the end of October thereabouts, and that's what really kicked off a lot of the race innovations that have happened in the past few months. You know, for something that is so simple like this, there is a lot that can go into it and a lot of tense you can save, especially when you're going for top times and, you know, you're gonna barrier breaks. Every little strat counts.
Yeah, this is one of those splits. We had like no changes on this planet for years, and then we were excited because we found like 0.1 seconds of time save. Like, it's that kind of split.
Yeah.
212.4, that's pretty solid.
212.4. Like, prior to that bounce strat and new boost route, like, that would have been ideal. Like, that was the best that has ever been done in an actual run situation, was a 212.4. And then I did a 212.3, like, while grinding, but, like, you can really squeeze out, you know, 0.5 of time save on that planet now, whenever you want. So, this is the big kahuna. This is Feltzen, and this has a one-frame trick called nuke storage.
First one frame.
So, let's go. So he's planning to shoot the nuke and pause on the correct frame and then restart the challenge. And that gives him his nuke back.
I don't like this planet, for anyone wondering.
Yeah, no, this is just a timing-based trick. And there's not much else you can do.
There we go.
There we go. So you can tell because you get like this very specific blue like blob of nuke in the frame.
Oh, we got a straggler.
So what that does is it... Yeah. Wow. Goddamn straggler.
Yeah, so basically what that does is the physics, when you restart a mission, it resets the ships, but it will keep the physics. And basically, for whatever reason, on just that planet, it doesn't work on any of the other ship levels. The physics of the nuke doesn't, like, apply until the second frame. So, if you pause on the first frame of the nuke exploding, you can reset the mission. You'll still have a nuke, but the nuke will continue to explode and wipe the first wave, and then you'll have a second nuke to clear the second wave.
Yeah, and that saves like a bunch of time, really. So this is no tech. You're going to see a lot going on here. Like, you just want to cross a bunch of rooftops and all that. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That's fine.
That's wild. So, no-tac is a very complicated planet. We need to hit a lot of very specific points to complete missions, and we do a huge loop around the stage. So what he's doing there is he hit the promenade section, and then he's got a very specific trigger up the continue point section. He did a proxy up and then charged over to this part. And
yeah, charge.
Yep. Oh, come on. You're just showing off. Come on. Guess that's all the swag strats. Like, doing a proxy.
It is all the swag strats.
This section.
I'll go for another triple charge. Ready? Alright. Oh, I missed it. Oh, that's a shame. 3 for 4 frame perfects. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Man, while commentating this, you really realize just that there's so much going on at any given time.
Second try.
There we go.
There we go.
The final mission trigger is in that little hallway there.
Yeah, it's one of the weirder
That must be
ones.
wide.
You just need to kind of step into that room and it completes a mission, and that's it. That counts as investigating the wharf area. That's what that one is.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the first world record attempt in this category was dead because we didn't realize that's how you activated that mission. We thought it was just going to the end, and so when we changed the route, we didn't hit it.
Yeah, it's just like there's 2 or 3 things that are like that. Like, you just have to go to a very specific entryway or a place. Like, you'll see it later in Tadano where he'll just do some, like, really irrelevant movement that will trigger a mission. Anyway, Siberius. So, we just went out of bounds there and we're just gliding along, or charging along nothing. So, this looks like there's, like, a lot going on, but this is a really fine-tuned route of charging and knowing where you are in proportion to all of the invisible terrain here. So, the objective of this is to skip a lengthy section where you do the first phase of a boss. This boss right here, the Shadow. Spoilers, it's Angela.
Oh, whoa, bro, you're spoiling a 2002 game? How could you? No, man.
There's a chase section there where you have to defeat 2 phases of her, along like a train of huge trucks and all that. But the way the game is loaded, that section is just like on the other side of the dam at the start of the planet. So all you have to do is just traverse that very long part of just like rocks and invisible terrain there, which we can charge along.
Now you would have just noticed I made a little save there. In a run, normally you wouldn't, but I'm going to call that the safety save. The only problem with this swag route that I'm doing right now is if you make a mistake after avoiding the middle of a level, because the middle of this level normally has a wrench upgrade, and if you die at all after skipping the wrench upgrade, the file will actually softlock. And you won't physically be able to progress anymore. So I just made a little safety save to make sure that, you know, hopefully, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So the mission we're doing here is we need to collect 10 crystals to repair our ship. We've come out into this desert area, and the hippie dude, what? I forget his name now. Requires 10 of these cool crystals. For what purpose, I don't know, but it will fix our ship. And luckily in this central section of the desert there are exactly 10 crystals that are just sitting here and able for us to use. Luckily this puts us at a point where we can complete the other mission, which is getting the glider, which is an item here, which is a really terrible thing to control. So we're not going to do the glider section casually, but we are going to finish the glider section by going out of bounds by doing some wrench climbing. And then a little proxy here that will take us right down.
Ooh. I don't know about that, Bonk.
You
go here, I guess. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm going to admit to everyone, I have no idea. Alright, now we're here. That's a mistake I've never seen before.
Yeah, the terrain there becomes invisible from out of bounds, so it's really hard to sort of gauge where you are if you're not doing the actual route. We are taking suggestions on how to make this route quicker, by the way, because this is...
Oh, this is not
simply
not at all.
Ooh.
There we go. Made it work. That is not where I thought I was at all. That is... There we are. Yeah, so as you can see, that strat's really weird. Basically, if you make even like a slight mistake on the proxy, because all the terrain's not loaded, and you can very easily accidentally go the wrong way, and then you can very quickly, you know, die, and then as I said, softlock the file. So that's one of the very common run killers in this category, because even if you're doing everything right, it can be very difficult to actually find your way through that, you know. Because you're basically, not only is it all invisible, you're also trying to, like, get your way through 2 invisible mountains. You're, like, going through a little valley. It's quite hard to know what you're doing.
This is Dobbo. So Dobbo has a few things on it. It is split up into 2 sections, which is Dobbo and Dobbo Orbit. So here we're going to do a proxy, and then, that was strange. Yeah.
That was an uncharacteristic mistake.
Yeah, there's a section here where you're supposed to just sort of just do a lot of combat and platforming and all that, but here, because we have the charge routes and we can sort of decoy side flip our way to victory, we are able to get right over to this section here. The mathematician is gonna hook us up with the giant Clank platform, and we are gonna go to Dobbo Orbit. So this is the first and only giant Clank section in this run. Giant Clank is unwieldy to control on the best of days. He feels a bit large. But luckily we can sort of stun lock the Thug Leader boss here, as long as we can jump on him. So jumping on him does like the most damage, sort of. So all you have to do is just jump and space your jump timing correctly, so you can just sort of knock him around the planet like that.
It is actually worth noticing this fight itself is not actually a mission. The reason we do this fight is because it gives us the Joba coordinates, and of course we need, for all missions, we need to do Joba missions as well. This fight itself is completely optional. You don't need to do this.
No, I did not actually know that. I thought this was like a mission and just like, also, yeah, it unlocks Joba coordinates now, but...
Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure that no, this is not a mission. And this guy...
Honestly, considering how Ratchet works, I would not be surprised if this is not a mission. He got a ton of health there. God damn.
Yeah, this is gonna be quite painful.
Yeah, if the Thug Leader gets away from me, he sort of just runs away, so...
Yeah. There's no really good way to get him back into a stun lock if you lose the stun lock. Oh, yeah. Come on. If you're like timing it really well, you can make it work, but like that. But it can be really hard. Yeah. So when this guy decides to not cooperate, it can be quite frustrating. But look, I've seen him worse than that. That wasn't great, but I've seen him be more frustrating.
Yeah.
It's now time
That's just...
for the next of the big swag strats. This is actually something I haven't unveiled. I did a version of this at some point, but I was messing around a few days ago and I found a new strategy here actually, and I haven't shown this to anyone except Mobius yet.
I was wondering like whether you'd do it or not, whether you'd practiced it enough. Cool. So,
alright.
One of the things about Dobbo is that you take a teleporter at the start and you go into like an interior area. The interior area is like directly across from where your ship is or where the teleporter is at the start. So technically, if you had enough height and you could go far enough distance, you can end up in that interior area. Ooh, so FeaR missed the very last component of that particular strat, but he is going to back it up by doing this. So the water just doesn't exist past a certain point, and it turns out the interior area is right down here. So he is going to do this and do a clip here. The glider gadget that we got before is usually necessary to get down to this lower section, but obviously we can clip and use the charge routes to charge right down to where it is. And we need to do this electrolyzer to finish off the planet and give us the coordinates to the next planet, Rugus Cloud.
Yeah, so essentially what I was aiming for with that original strategy, I messed up. I didn't get a recharge off the little blue light at the top of the pillar, you might have noticed. But if you do get the recharge, essentially you can skip that entire interior section. You can just charge and do one giant long jump straight to the end of the game. Sorry, straight to the end of the level. Ooh,
straight to the end of the game. Straight to
end of the game. Just skip the whole game, my dude. It's just that easy. Alright, now, because I made some mistakes, I'm going to buy some ammo here.
A good friend of the community, Delta Doid, says, "Did you know you don't have to do all the missions? You can skip a couple and no one will
know." You raise a fair point.
It's a very fair point.
Alright, now this next planet, this is a planet which has a lot of potential for swag strats. I will go for the swing shot proxy midair.
Yes.
Let's hope I hit it.
Champion.
So basically,
there are two paths to Joba here. Oh, yeah. No worries. There's two paths to Joba here. There's a hoverbike race, another hoverbike race, and another arena. The arena section is the only one that we need to do, though, because the hoverbike race is already done, or like the mission for it is already done in NG+, because we have the charge routes. So, this swing shot proxy here, if we use the swing shot, glide, and then hyperstrike, all of that momentum from our glide is transferred directly into the hyperstrike and takes us like very far up into the air. Out of that hyperstrike, you can do a mid-air charge. Unfortunately, that is like a true one frame. You need to mash the heck out of R1 to get it. And FeaR unfortunately didn't get it there, but he did obviously get the swing shot proxy and was able to glide up to the top section of the planet.
Yeah, so to explain the difference between that mid-air charge and some of the other ones a bit, like that swing shot proxy in itself is really cool. I love that strategy. A fun fact, I found that about 2 years ago when I was... Basically, I was so angry when I was learning all platinum bolts with the strat that we used. It was called elevator skip, and I hated it. And out of just pure frustration, I was looking for a different strategy, and I found that. And it revolutionized all platinum bolts, because you could just do these incredible swing shot proxies in a few different places. You'll see a few more of them throughout the run. But yeah, so with the difference between like swing shot proxy frame perfects and other ones. So the normal double charges, I can control when the final frame of a charge is by cancelling my charge. And by doing that, I'm able to then control it and then put in the next R1 input that I need to do the mid-air charge whenever I want to. But with the swing shot proxy ones, it's whenever the hyper strike animation ends naturally. So I can't control when that frame is, and that means, as Mobius said, you've just got to, you know, mash really hard and hope that you get the exact right frame. There's no actually consistent way to do it. You've pretty much just got to mash really hard and hope. Yeah, there's a couple more of them that we'll go for this run.
Yeah. Like, when it comes to mid-airs, FeaR's, like, I mean, he's the best in the game. He's known for being the one that's pioneered a lot of the consistent mid-air strats in this game, but there are just some cases where frame perfects are frame perfect, and you really can't get around just how difficult they are. To briefly explain these arenas, these don't have as much like science behind them as the Mactile ones, but the case of the first one is just like making sure you know where the pods are spawning in. For here,
you actually, no, I'm gonna slightly correct you on that. I did research it a bit when I was making the segmented recently. So I actually did create a bit of a route for it. I do manipulate the pods the same sort of way as the first arena, but it's still not as extensively labbed. It's quite a bit harder to control. You can't basically control exactly where they come out. But then the second one is basically just praying.
Yeah, the cage match one, they all sort of spawn in like an arc around you, and you just have to sort of shoot with the plasma coil where they are. And a lot of them do spawn like off screen technically.
Alright, now I'm going to go for the next of the swag strats. I'm going to let you explain it.
So we've escaped the arena, and we can just use that high position there to do a bunch of mid-airs all the way back down to the ship, but he cut his mid-air change a little bit short there. However, we can climb up to this part here and continue the mid-air chain from thereabouts.
There we go. So that was 6 frame perfect mid-air charges. I hope that's swag enough for you all. I always hope, so when that goes right, if you want to see most of these swag strats done correctly, little plug, go and watch my NG Plus all missions segmented. Basically how it's meant to look is you just charge in a straight line. It's like 9 mid-air charges, and you just go in a straight line from the exit all the way back to your ship, and it looks incredible.
Dang, no zero drop.
No zero drop. It's not that swag, so I didn't go for it.
It's a swag strat.
It's not swag. I will argue this.
Oh, come on. Oh well, I mean that is the most boring of the ship sections by far, so no need to explain that, but we can explain Tadano. So Tadano isn't much different from its no AMG counterpart, but it does just look cool. So we charge all the way along here, and then we do 2 proxies up the dam section. Wow!
Bonk.
The game robbed you of that one.
Really did.
God damn. So yeah, just very specific movement here. 1 proxy, ooh. Little SI backup, another proxy, and then a 3rd proxy up the mountain, and the coordinates for this planet are, in fact, just there. So, if you went straight into that. There is a mission here that we need to trigger by just going into the facility and then doing a 180 back out of it.
That's exactly like the one that we were talking about on NoTac before, for anyone curious. Yeah. It's just pop your head into the room and it will complete the mission.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything in it. Again, there's a sheepinator at the end of it, but that's not the mission we need to do. So
yeah, this one. Let's have a look. See, not that one. That is the NG Plus segment, an outdated one. The world record is actually now faster than that for the NG Plus category.
That's crazy. I didn't realize
crazy,
that.
I know. Yeah. The original NG Plus segment is now slow. It wouldn't even be 2nd place. Alright, so this planet is quite interesting. I'll let you explain the missions here.
Yeah, so there's a few components to this planet. The first mission we're going to do here is we have to ride a grind rail here along the power lines, but we only need to hit the beginning and end of the power lines segment. So here we're going to go to the top and get over here, and then we're going to do a proxy right here on top of a building that was just recently discovered.
This is another strat unveiling, actually. I haven't showed this strat to anyone.
Oh, yeah. And we can sort of go out of bounds there and do a long jump over to the very end of this section where Slim Pignito is, and that is triggering the end of the mission. So we don't have to ride the power lines at all. Good job, you hit the button. Do a proxy here. So this planet is normally very long and very hard for casual players, but we can do a very specific hyperstrike in a position to clip through the dome and go to Aranos 2. And that is, of course, done in a bunch of different categories, but it is always just cool to see.
Alright, so this planet now is Aranos 2. Much like the Indako Clank clips I explained before, this one is another planet where we have, well, a Clank section, so we've got Clank clips. But there was an alternative strategy that I found earlier in the year, which, while I do this, I'm going to let Mobius explain.
Yeah, so you see that platform right there that looked like a sort of a balance board spring thing? You could do a proxy off that by having the Hammerbot entity, which we skip, in fact, in this run, bounce you up, and then while you're, punch onto it while it bounces up that platform, and it takes Clank, like, super high into the air, and we can glide into this section right here. But with Clank clips, it is quicker to clip through both of the doors that we normally need to go through the air ducts to get the Gadgetbots for. And skip. All we have to do is just get these Gadgetbots, these 4 here. You can clip through this final door, but it's not faster in an RTA scenario, and it's also extremely difficult for whatever reason compared to the other 2 clips.
You want to know a fun little fact about that Clank section?
Yeah.
That was about 0.2 seconds slower than the fastest anyone's ever done it.
That did seem really, really dang fast,
Really
didn't
good.
it?
Mid-air charge!
That mid-air is automatic. That mid-air is 100% for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I get that mid-air consistently enough that I get angry when I miss it. It's that level of consistency generally. It's pretty straightforward at this point. I've been doing that mid-air charge in runs now for a year and a half. Wow, it's kind of crazy. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. So that whole wall climbing section there, skip the entire interior section and another Clank section inside of Aranos 2.
Yeah.
It's
actually about
it's just,
2 minutes of time save over the casual route, at least.
Yeah, pretty much more than 2 minutes of time save even. Like it skips a lot in actuality. So what we did there was also save load after we hit the final cutscene and completed like the mission, quote unquote, to get Clank back. Because Clank doesn't actually get back, or like you don't get Clank capabilities back unless you save load. It's just a little quirk about how the game works and how game processes Clank because you haven't technically rescued him in the correct way. What have we gone to now? Gone.
The planet everyone always forgets exists.
Yeah, well that's what I was thinking. Like, oh yeah, we're on to Sniv now. We're on to Sniv. No, we're on.
Yeah, now
so,
the joke here is that it's another ship level. It's the last ship level in the game. There's nothing like. There's a lot to do, like it's a very intricate split for like high level play, but again, casually or to the viewer, it doesn't really look like much is going on. And realistically, like it's hard, but in comparison to the run where you just had to do Clank clips, as well as, you know, a double charge, and then the next split is a double charge, 2 Insta Clips, and a trick called poking that you're about to see, it's kind of just comparatively easy, so people tend to forget this planet.
Although it's funny because you messed it up in this one.
Shh, don't tell them. They don't know that. Nobody needs to know.
Yeah, they knew that. A
little bit of
so
new
here we
movement
get to
I
use the
found
swing
right
shot
here.
again.
I messed it up.
Dang.
I'll try one more time.
Righto, come on. Oh, make a flip. Mid-air. Woo! And then we can glide. And that portion of wall is just not solid for some reason, so we can just glide around and skip all the casual stuff or climbing over the barrier there. Here we're going to try and do an Insta Clip. He's going to throw the turret, and it's going to land exactly where he is when the turret lands and just force him through the wall. Here, we're about to set up poking. So poking, it's a dumb name, but basically it's getting your weapon inside of a hitbox so that the armor frames for an enemy are like reduced or don't function the same way. So you see here, he's doing massive damage with the hover bomb. You're thinking, wow, this boss took me like 10 minutes casually to like sit around with the turrets. But when you force the weapon inside and all 5 of the hover bomb bombs explode at the same time, while he's damaging himself, I should say, additionally, it just does a ton of damage all at once, and you're able to really clean him out in just like 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, that one's like a big strat because there's like 3 different things going on there. You've got a stun lock, you're forcing him to hit himself, and because you're inside his hitbox, the hover bombs don't actually spawn, they just instantly explode, and that essentially uncaps the hover bomb fire rate, and that allows it actually makes the hover bomb do higher damage per second than the Rhino in this game. I think it's the only, well, except for maybe the Pyrosity glitch in Ratchet 1, it's one of the only ways in the Ratchet series, interesting, one of the only ways in the Ratchet series that you can do more damage than the game's Rhino.
Yeah, like it's an extraordinary amount of damage because you have 5 really high damage bombs. With Smog, that is our first of 2 Swingshot proxies we'll be doing here. Sorry, spoilers. This Hypnomatic part, which is the mission, doesn't have a Y coordinate check, so just conveniently going along that crane also goes directly above the Hypnomatic part, and it gives you the cutscene and it doesn't teleport you down. So you can get the Hypnomatic part and just continue straight along to the rail section here.
Yeah, so basically the devs didn't expect anyone to, you know, they didn't code any other spots you were meant to be able to stand near and in and around. Oh, I've got to go for the mid-airs here real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bad attempt. I'll try one more time.
Well, by virtue of that, now you have to go for another Swingshot proxy mid-air.
Dang. Unlucky. Alright.
One more attempt.
One more attempt. Alright, this one's one of the, you know, the iconic swag strats in this game. I gotta try one more time. Unlucky. You don't get to see the Smog sextuple today. One of the coolest strats in the game. It's a bit of a meme within the Ratchet community because it's this chain of 5 or 6, depending on how you do it, 5 or 6 frame perfect charges to save 0.2 seconds. So it's a bit of a meme within the community of it just being this absolute joke of a strategy.
Yeah. It's really not worth it for anyone, even at the top level of any category. So,
wow, okay.
Nothing.
Missing my glides today.
Strange.
Let's try this again.
Yeah, Swingshot proxies necessitate a glide into that specific enemy. Whoop. That's not good enough. We need to get the charge.
And try. There we go. We're a bit low, so I can't make it. That's how the frame perfect charge looks, but if you get it too low, you actually don't have enough height. Because what we're doing is we're skipping an entire levitator section, and we're trying to go all the way to the damsel coordinates without using the levitator at all. And yeah, we're not going to get it this time. I'll try one more time, and if I don't get it, I will do the backup.
Yeah, so sort of one of the byproducts of dying on this planet is that you can't do the safe strat, I would say, for this specific trick. You'll see a bunch of like air trains flying through the air, like just on a cycle around the planet. It turns out when you do the normal route correctly, one of those trains lines up perfectly with where you're at for this Swingshot proxy, and as a result of that, you can land on it and then charge along that train and get over to the damsel coordinates much quicker.
Yeah, because naturally in a run, when you're 40 minutes into one of the hardest categories in the series, you're not going to want to go for this essentially luck frame perfect. Yeah. That's kind of just a given. So we've managed to line up the movement. If you play the rest of Smog almost perfectly, you have about 2 seconds to play with, 2 seconds of mistakes. Yeah. If you do that, then you can land on the train, and then you can charge on that train to where I'm going now. And that allows you to get a Smog completed in under 2 minutes, which is incredibly quick. For reference, this one right now is... Oh, I almost didn't buy the coordinates. This one right now is about approaching 5 minutes. So I'm going to buy ammo here because mistakes were made. And now, Grelbin.
On to Grelbin. So Grelbin has 3 important missions to it. The very first one is... It just looks weird. It's another one of those, you touch a certain spot and then you've completed the mission type thing. So you immediately turn around when FeaR spawns here, and you'll be clipping through a wall.
Yeah, and the mission here, it's not actually just about the mission. The mission is to essentially travel into this section. But the other part of it is also... You don't actually need to go into the shaft at all or complete this section. All you need to do is complete the mission. And to complete the mission, going back here and dying does it. And completing the mission activates the little bridges that give you access to the second
Yeah.
section. And that's going to be important later for after I do this cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here, like, doing that single side flip skips in the entire section where you have to use the hypnomatic to like travel through the facility and all that. Like, it is really one of the most gimme sort of skips in the game. And what FeaR's doing immediately afterwards is he needs 25 crystals to give to the hippie dude once again to complete another mission, and also to get another of the hypnomatic parts. There are 3, and you'll be getting the second one right here. So this route, FeaR worked on through the All Mission Segmented, and it's really cool. It's a thing of beauty, I think, because at first the All Missions route for these 25 crystals was, you know, very wishy-washy, sort of improvised, but now he goes through and gets pretty much the 25 closest freestanding crystals and 1 or 2 Leviathans just that are on his path as well. Leviathans give 1 crystal as well.
And the reason we don't grab more Leviathans, if you're wondering, basically, most of the Leviathans have a little requirement for when they activate, and they're also not that quick to kill. The only Leviathan we actually kill in this route is because he dies anyway, because we're side flipping over him, and so our shield kills him. And by the time we charge away, it's all okay, and it's all active. But most of the Leviathans actually have a amount of crystals you need to have before they will spawn. And because we haven't actually finished, like, the crystals haven't locked onto us yet, when we die in the lava, it forces them to essentially, like, lock onto you and come to you instantly. But until you die, they won't have locked onto you, and so you won't actually have the crystals, so the Leviathans won't physically be capable of spawning. So that's the reason we skip a lot of the Leviathans there.
Yeah. It's just far more convenient to get the freestanding ones anyway, because they take 1 run and a shot and they'll all auto-track onto you when you go around them, so it's like just much nicer to path around those anyway, even if the Leviathans were more lenient. So Damosel,
I've never seen that bonk in my life.
Wow, through all the testing you were doing for the APB, like, you didn't get that bonk once.
My
like,
goodness.
God damn. So we're getting our 3rd hypnomatic part here. Normally you have to take this entire rail section. You might find a trend here. We don't like rail sections in this game because they
Rail sections are slow. We hate them.
Yeah. Oh, you skipped the Jack and Daxter cutscene. Dang.
I'm so sorry. So yeah, what we do here is now we need to hit the hypnomatic part. We need to essentially then get back to the ship. There's several sections here. We need to get to the hypnomatic guy. So we get the part, get the hypnomatic, and get back to the ship. Those are essentially the missions here. So what we're going to do, we do this big long route. And what we aim for is we actually hit the continue point of the final room from out of bounds. It's another one of the hitboxes which extends out past the room. So we'll go like this.
Yeah.
We die
Yep,
here.
right,
and that's the continue point that we actually need. And now we'll spawn inside with the hypnomatic guy, like that. And that skips several minutes of gameplay. And then we come over here. Again, the hypnomatic section is actually a mission, but it doesn't check if you're doing it with the hypnomatic. Basically, it's just a little button that needs to be pressed. So you can actually just clip through into the hypnomatic section and press it as Ratchet.
Yeah. So one of the recent route innovations is that we don't take the taxi. Instead, we just clip out here and charge back down to where we got the hypnomatic part, because there's a teleporter there that takes us back to the ship. This is like around the same time as it takes to take the taxi, but it's much nicer to do, and also like looks 10 times cooler as well.
That is very true, and of course, that is the most important thing in speedrunning.
Yeah, no, of course. And that is the second last planet. We are on to Planet Edel now. So Planet Edel, as the final planet, does not have any extra missions. We're about, what, a minute away from finishing the run even.
Or rather, all the missions it does have are completed by just completing the game anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And Edel exterior is always a treat to see. So what he's going to do is he's going to do a very specific chain of SIs and proxies here.
Actually, I'm going to miss it.
He's going to miss it.
He's going to miss it. Let's try that again.
Yeah, all these rocks, like, you can sort of range swing off them and then get another charge at a certain point, and then you can obviously proxy off them because they are also slopes. But he's going to get over here, and then he's going to aim for an Insta Clip right between these 2 huge doors. Nice.
That is not the menuing I wanted. Yeah, and then what we have at the end here is I'm going to go for the last swag strat of the run. It's called the turret bounce. Basically, what you can do in this game is you can use turrets to boost you up, a bit like a proxy. Oop, I didn't quite get it this time. I'll go one more time. If you get it right, it just shoots you. It's exactly like a decoy proxy. Not in how you do it, but in the function. It shoots you really high into the air, and it looks just awesome to see. So I'm going to try one more time for this.
Yeah, this whole interior section can be skipped by just going to the left here and either climbing up or doing a turret bounce. Turret bounce.
Ooh, didn't quite get it. Didn't quite get it. That was close.
Barely off.
This is one of those strategies. Oops, sorry, you go.
Oh yeah, you can just see like it is very finicky and precise, and like you need to really wedge yourself between the turret in the right position to bounce you up correctly.
It essentially works because you're on the slope, and then because you're on the slope, you're able to throw the turret behind you, or below you rather, and then the push-up animation of the turret just pushes you up.
Yeah.
And now we're going into the final boss. We hit the cutscene from out of bounds, which teleports us inbounds.
Yeah.
And then we do poking again, just like Snibberlack boss and the final boss, and that's time right there.
Easy done.
Alrighty.
GG FeaR. That was a run to watch.
A lot of cool tech. I'm kind of sad that I missed some of the
fun.
swag strats, but you know what? I tried for them, and that's what counts. That's kind of the thing with the swag strats in this game. They're like, when we say swag, we mean like, 5 frame perfect tricks generally. So it's like, it's pretty hard, but I hope you all enjoyed it regardless.
The incentive set goes for the
Exactly,
swag.
exactly.
Yeah, it's all the swag.
I tried.
You went for it all, and that's what matters. Do you have anyone that you want to shout out?
I'd try to shout out the whole Ratchet and Clank community, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't still be running this game. I've been running this game for like over 4 years now, and I love it, but to be honest, if there wasn't such a big and, supportive community that is just, sharing the passion with me and just wanting me to play as much as I want me to play, I almost definitely wouldn't still be playing this game. So, yeah, just shout out to the whole community, to be honest. They're all awesome.
I'm shouting out Emerald. Shout out
Emerald, yeah! Actually, yeah, shout out to Emerald. Because he's like pretty new to the community, but he's tazzing a lot, and he's developing all of the games by just doing tazzing. So shout out to Emerald for being awesome. Yeah.
Yo, Emerald the homie.
Emerald is the homie.
He's Australian too. We got it rep.
Yeah, the Aussies.
Before we go, by the way, we have a very special little announcement. We're currently at $2,170. I'm hearing through the woods, if we hit $2,222 by the end of the next run, which is only 10 minutes long, Ty Kevin 83 will do the Pikachu death cry. So if you want to get in on that, and if you want to hear that in like the next 10 minutes, exclamation mark donate in the chat. I'll give you that little link, and just start throwing money. I want to see a $5 train going, and I just want to see $5 donations start flowing in, and I want to be rating all of them.
How about this? Everyone who just watched, I want you to donate $1 for every mid-air charge I hit. That should be at least $15. Let's get it going. Come on. $1 for every mid-air charge in that run. Let's go.
And with that, we'll see you in just a few minutes.